Hello, I'm Andrew Lawrence King, and today I'm talking about the interaction, the relationship between singers and continuo in what Monteverdi called the genere rappresentativo, the show style, the dramatic style of his story in music, Orfeo, and the solo motets in the Vespers. Nowadays, when we perform these pieces, it's expected that the continuo will follow the singers, and there's lively debate about how much freedom the singers should have. For lively debate, you can sometimes read heated arguments. Actually, that whole approach is not supported by historical sources. And looking at the background, at the end of the 16th century, just before the invention of this new style, then it's expected at this point that singers have the right to be late on any beat. However, the person who is giving the tactus, they're not a conductor in the modern sense, they're the person who's giving the tactus, equal, stable, firm, clear, sure, fearless, and without any perturbation. The person giving the tactus just carries on without any perturbation and doesn't slow down to accommodate the singers, they just carry on. You could think of this as the Ella Fitzgerald rule for early Baroque music. The singers do have the freedom to work around the steady pulse of this tactus, but the tactus isn't going to wait for them. That tactus is somewhere around 1 beat per second, and for Monteverdi it's going to be on the half note, on the minim. More or less 1 beat per second. Nobody's got a digital metronome to measure it. It's what feels like 1 second to you. But the job is not to invent a new kind of second, but rather to try to get whatever a second is, whatever tactus is, to get it right. And the feeling of this beat is the feeling of time itself. Stable, equal, firm, sure, fearless, without any perturbation. For dramatic music, there isn't a tactus beater, because it wouldn't look good on the stage to be beating tactus when you're supposed to be acting, and the singer's hands are needed for expressive gestures. And this way of performing on stage was carried over into dramatic solo songs like the solo motets in the Vespers, like Nigra Sum and Pulchraes. So without a tactus beater, it's now the continuo who have the job of supporting and guiding the whole ensemble, as Agazzari says. It's the continuo who regulate the singers, as Galliano says. So the continuo keep this steady pulse in half notes, and the singers are quite free to work around it. So here's how it might sound. Here's a ground bass and its realization, and then some free singing over the top. I'm showing you all of this on the harp. Down, up. And here's how that same example might sound if it was accompanied by today's continuo players jumping around to follow the singer wherever they go. have the Ella Fitzgerald rule from Zacconi at the end of the 16th century, and in the early 17th century Monteverdi notates quite often these kind of sort of jazzy effects where the singer is deliberately off the beat. Here's a famous example from Nigrasum. Down, up. Here's a particularly complex example from Act 5 of Orfeo. Down, up. It's interesting that the common feature of the texts for those two examples is the idea of beauty. And Zacconi's reason for the singer sometimes delaying, not going with the tactus, although the tactus is maintained, Zacconi's reason for this is beautiful singing. So there's perhaps the idea that this dreamy drifting around the steady tactus is an especially beautiful way to make music. One last thought. Perry says that he writes his dramatic music with the continuo in slow note values, minims and semibreves, because he doesn't want the singers to be made to dance by rapid movement in the continuo if the song is some sad or serious matter. Now, sometimes people just think, oh, Perry's saying that the singers shouldn't follow the continuo. No, he doesn't say that. Actually, he's assuming that the singers will follow the continuo, and that's why the continuo should not dance around too much if it's a sad or serious matter. The continuo should just stay in this slow, steady pulse of minims and semibreves. And that's one of the reasons that we see in many, many sources that the continuo should not subdivide, they should not make diminutions, they should stick to the written minims and semibreves so that they don't make the singer dance if the subject is sad or serious. So, the continuo gives a clear, steady beat in minims and semibreves. They don't confuse it and they don't make it too dancey by introducing lots of diminutions. The singer can be late at any time, but the tactus and the continuo won't wait. It's the Ella Fitzgerald rule.